welcome to this brand spanking new edition of 5-Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside me is Albert Cita, Guillermo Cita, and happy Mother's Day to all our female listeners, if we have any. You think we have some?
We have a few.
A few? Like, that's not our moms or relatives?
Oh, that's who I was talking about.
Oh, okay. No, but happy Mother's Day to everybody, or, you know, if you're celebrating with your mother, wife, whoever. Speaking of wives, how's your Mother's Day going?
I haven't.
I'm here, right?
Well, technically, we celebrate the Mexican one.
Yeah,
yesterday, right?
Technically,
Saturday.
in Mexico culture, there's two Mother's Days, so why can't there be two Father's Day?
There's two Mother's Day?
Yeah, the May 10th and then the Sunday today. So yesterday was May 10th.
So basically the Mexican and the American Mother's Day.
Exactly.
Oh, man, get out of here. You're over here.
What? They have two days.
I thought he meant like Mexicans have two Mother Days in one calendar year.
Oh, okay.
I was like, well, that just blew my mind.
Anyways, all right. So I love Albert's shirt, rocking the Lakers.
Nah,
Kobe
man, that's
Bryant.
I got tired. Look, it makes me mad.
If you can come with the Lob City, you can come with the Lakers stuff, right?
All I hear is LA Kings, LA Dodgers, LA Clippers, and I just want to remind the viewers who the bread and butter of LA is.
Who really runs this town.
Which is the Lakers.
The Black Mamba himself,
I don't want
Kobe Bryant.
people getting confused and forget what made LA.
You're lucky I came directly from my soccer game, so I had to rock my Celtic jersey.
Not coincident that they lost on Friday, too?
And good thing we have a good interview today because Guillermo's going to need to use this later.
Yeah,
please, bro.
It's not,
please.
It's not very pleasant to be next to you right now.
Don't come anymore. Yeah, next
my
time we have
deodorant didn't hold up.
Kimberley from Rockin Green Soap. But as of right now, I want to talk about UFC Fight Night. It takes place on Saturday. Brown versus Silva. I think
Albert's barely waking up from the fight.
Yeah, from top to bottom, it was a stacked card. But to be honest with you guys, I didn't watch it. I was out in LA celebrating Maynard James Keenan's birthday at a concert. So from what I heard, I missed a lot. But for me, I felt perfect circle.
And what sucks is
for full fans out there know what I'm talking about. But Albert, I'm assuming you watched. You probably a little disappointed about the outcome.
I wanted to plead the fifth today, and I didn't even want to talk about today's card because it was so. It broke my heart.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but this is an MMA show, so we got to talk about MMA news.
I'll start it off. Let's start off with the main one that he's heard about is Erick Silva. Now he's
main event, Erick Silva.
Yeah, let's start with the main event today because that's why he's super sad. Erick Silva is no longer relevant in the UFC. He's
okay.
If anything,
you took my question. That was my question. I mean, this is you wrote an article about the guy last year. You've been praising him since he walked into the UFC. Are you guys still high? Are you guys still high on him?
No, he's a gatekeeper to getting ranked in the UFC or in that weight class in the welterweight.
You're shaking your head yes, because
no, I'm shaking no because he's not even a gatekeeper. He needs to go World Series of Fighting and build himself up. It was one of the most ridiculous displays I've MMA ever seen. You got the guy hurt, right?
Yeah,
and you don't do nothing about it. He barely tags him in the stomach in the second round, and right away Brown's clinching, but yet you don't go for the body at all for the rest of the fight. I don't know.
And here's the thing: he's 29 years old, and everybody would give him a pass. Oh, he's young. He's young. He's reaching to a point where it's like there's no excuses.
The maturity level, right?
Yeah, you gotta either have the killer instinct to get into the top and get the championship, or you're a gatekeeper.
From what I read online, people were calling like Fight of the Night, awesome fight. But,
for Matt Brown,
but I mean,
like,
well, this is back and forth. But I mean, like. But being on the short end of awesome fights won't get you that very far, right? I mean, because remember, he was also on the short end of that Fight of the Night with John Finch.
Oh, okay.
And that obviously gave me like, it's okay, good. You're kind of relevant in all these scrappers. Like maybe Leonard Garcia, you're in these wars that people love, but then you're always in the short end of the stick. Next thing you know, excuse me, you're not in UFC anymore.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
that's why he's a little upset. But then now we can talk.
I want to talk about
the rest of the card.
I was happy about two things though, because there's a lot of disappointments here.
Eddie Wiley got knocked out too.
But Eric Koch.
Oh, it was
Eddie Wiley.
Oh, Eddie Wiley. It was a bad knockout.
Felt bad for Eddie Wiley.
But our friend to the show, Darren Cruikshank, got an amazing
surprised a lot of people, even Guillermo here.
TKO win. I don't know why he went against friends of the MMA.
MMA. You know what's funny is he's putting me on blast right now. I love Darren Cruikshank, but he said it himself. How do you beat Darren Cruikshank?
It's not what you say; it's what's on print. And on print, he had Darren Cruikshank.
Albert, please talk about what you told me how you could beat Darren Cruikshank.
I said Darren Cruikshank is probably the best technical stand-up fighter I've ever seen.
Yes,
and
I agree.
With that said, Saul Palea, the Hulk.
Before we do that, I want to talk about a local fighter in Southern California, Lorenz Larkin.
See, that was the other one. That was my other heartbreak.
Suffered a brutal knockout to Costa Philippou.
I mean, but
we've had conversations in house
to Larkins before we talk about the weight. Yeah. Larkin was, I mean, it was a guns blaze. Both guys were getting rocked back and forth. I mean, it was a matter of time before one of them was going to get knocked out the way they were fighting.
But I mean, do you think maybe he could withstand punches better?
If he was at 170.
At 170, because this guy he was at 205. Then now 185, but he's still not the biggest 185
Yeah,
fighter.
we're fortunate enough to live in the same
Metro area
as Lawrence Larkin, and we have seen him in person and whatever. And he doesn't look like the biggest guy. And we've seen 185 pounders, and they look huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had an impressive win against Robbie Lawler.
Mhm.
Yes, he did.
And I think he needs to take, knowing that he beat Robbie Lawler, and take his advice and go down to 170. I think at 170 he'll be
a different animal, right?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely make a quick impact.
Well, the thing about
170.
Lorenz Larkin, like you said, we live in the same metro area. It's not that he looks big. The thing is that he's not tall.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Like his frame's not that. Yeah.
exactly. So he, it would make sense to drop. From the height wise, he could drop down to 170.
Should be a bit of a cut, but you never know. Everybody's metabolism is different. So also, I want to talk about you said the Hulk Soa Paleli. I want to talk Guillermo here because Guillermo wrote an article about Stipe Miocic, how he was on the verge of fighting Junior Dos Santos, and now Dos Santos is out, and now he's fighting Fabio Maldonado. But after with Miocic now not fighting a big fight in the heavyweight division, and Soa's performance on Saturday is now Soa the dark horse in this heavyweight division.
And that's why I say it's a disadvantage to Stipe Miocic because now you have Sal with a little bit better competition.
Yeah.
Now so let's say Miocic has a bad showing, you can technically Sal might be in a higher ranking than Stipe.
Albert, what do you think?
I think he is the dark horse, but I like to, when I think of a heavyweight, I quickly think, can they beat Junior Dos? I don't think can they beat Cain Velasquez because that's too far in the
we always
future.
said that,
but I always
if
think
you beat Junior Dos Santos, you should be ranked number one.
Can't they beat Junior Dos Santos? And from what I saw, even though it was an impressive performance, it's tough to say if he can beat him or not. Like I really need to see him fight one more time, maybe someone with a name on it, but not as high caliber.
Yeah, who's left in heavyweight
Exactly.
division?
That's the problem.
But see, that's the tough part. But it's hard for me to say.
That's what my boy Stipe is.
He's a true dark horse because I really do think Stipe can beat Junior Dos Santos.
Yes, I think so.
But Sal, I think I need a little bit more because I mean, even though it was an impressive win, there was some things. I mean, I don't know what it had to do, but like when he was on the ground. I mean, he put himself in a bad position, but he put himself in a bad position to, for the other guy to do a submission. But I would like to see one more fight before.
Well, I mean,
he gets introduced to the top three.
Ron Potts in the first round.
But again, who's Ron Potts?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
do you think it's close enough to where he can probably fight Stipe?
Maybe. I mean,
I would do it in a heartbeat.
I think you give him Roy Nelson.
Roy Nelson. I mean, I think that I just read too that the Stefan Struve's coming back. He's going to fight Matt Mitrione, and then Andre Arlovsky just came back, but he's signed up with Brendan Schaub now. I mean, we still got Josh Barnett out there. Hasn't really made any news yet.
Josh Barnett, Sal.
I just wish they don't give him Mark Hunt because if you get these two guys,
I don't think they. Yeah.
Well, Mark Hunt's already booked.
That would be a Kaiju versus a Jaeger. Right there.
Yeah.
Also, who else is in my mind? Travis Browning's hurt, so
yes.
Like you said, so like the division's kind of thin. There's names out there, but not really to see who it is. But anyways, anything else about Fight Night?
We gotta wrap it up.
Nothing else? No Fight Night.
A good interview coming up.
loses. So also another local file, Darren Montague is now 0-2 in the UFC. Former
I'm
guest on
looking
here.
good.
I know. But anyways, all right. So UFC
and
Fight
Nate
Night.
Weiland got TKO, which I think that surprised a lot of people.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
Anyways, UFC Fight Night, Brown versus Silva. Big disappointment, heartache for Albert. Everybody else seemed to enjoy it. So stick around, guys. We got Rockin Green Soap CEO Kimberley Webb. So stick around.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
All right, join us now on the 5-Round MMA Hotline brought to you by Redemption Martial Arts. Please visit redemptionmartialarts.com and see how you can join the movement to stop bullying. Join us now as Kimberley Webb, CEO of Rockin Green Detergent Soap. Kimberly, how are you doing?
I'm good.
I want to thank you for speaking with us on this Mother's Day. I want to wish you happy Mother's Day. And Rockin Green Soap. It's awesome. We got some stuff in the mail from you. Thank you very much. I know Guillermo's is a weekend warrior, a soccer player, so his soccer jersey is always dirty here and there. It came in very handy. But I also want to tell the people in our audience the philosophy behind Rockin Green Soap and what is it exactly at its core.
Well, so we've been in business 5 years, and we started making soaps. I have really sensitive skin. I have kids. So it started off as just a laundry detergent that would work with really sensitive skin, and we wanted things to be green. We didn't want a lot of chemicals and that type of thing. And now it's kind of evolved to, we just launched a sport wash. I believe it was about a month or two ago. We, as a family, have all started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
Mhm.
Oh wow.
and we've been doing it for about a year now. And one thing I noticed was that when we were training and we were, and you're kind of looking at other people's gis and you're always up close and personal, smelling everybody. We noticed that, our dark gis, our blacks and our blue gis they stayed a lot brighter and a lot darker, whereas everybody else in the gym was kind of faded. Our white gis were a lot brighter than everybody else's, and so it got to the point where people were going, "Hey, what are you washing that in?" 'Cause I look horrible. And so then we kind of decided that it was something that um, the industry needed, and so I tweaked it a little bit to add some goodies for the sport, and our sport wash was born.
And then Kimberly, this is Albert. One of the unique things of your soap actually is the actual marketing itself. I mean, it has an interesting name. The way you guys market the thing is very clever. Can you let us know how you came up with that, and maybe let us know where you get the whole marketing scheme from?
I love rock and roll. My husband used to be in a punk band, so it just kind of came natural for us to do the rock and roll theme to it. And we've had a lot of fun with it. A lot of our scents are named after rock bands.
Oh, wow.
So we have like Motley Crue and Rage Against the Raspberry. So it's just something that, I've always been interested in, and I don't have any musical talent, so this is the next best thing.
So I want to jump back to when you said earlier about creating this product because you had sensitive skin. Did it take you a while to find a detergent that maybe you could just live with in the meantime until you develop your own?
We're really sensitive. So really anything that I buy at the grocery store, I've had problems with. My kids, when they were little, if somebody would hold them when they were babies, they would break out in hives.
Oh, wow.
So we're just really sensitive to stuff. And, I've got 3 kids and we train every day. I don't have time to look for stains and, spend all my time doing laundry. So I wanted something that, really cleaned, got it over with, and, was able to move on. So we made something that cleans really well, but is also really gentle. So, it took us a while to come up with the right formulation. One of the big things for us is that our products don't have optical brighteners. And if you're not a soap nerd,
Yeah,
optical
that's
brighteners.
We're like, what?
Optical brighteners, most of the things that you buy at the grocery store are going to have optical brighteners. And it gives you the illusion of clean. So it doesn't actually make things whiter, they just look whiter. It's actually like a blue kind of dye. So if you look
Whoa.
at your clothes under a black light, they'll glow if
Okay.
they've got optical brighteners in it.
Whoa,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
I feel cheated right now.
Since you're kind of
And unfortunately, especially when you've got like workout gear and stuff like that, those optical brighteners give bacteria a place to cling to and thrive on. So
Wow.
so if you've got a shirt that you've sweat in and then you wash it and it doesn't really get clean, and then the next time you go wear it again, you're going to start smelling faster because that bacteria is going to be reactivated. So you just get funkier and funkier the longer that you wear that shirt.
I think Ollie Charlie has that problem, doesn't he?
Yeah. Since you're educating us right now, I had a big thing because when I was looking at the packaging stuff, and what threw me off, it said formulated for any water types. And I was like, what? There's more than one water type? I was like, I thought the laundry was all using the same water.
No, so 85% of North America has hard water. So there's a lot of minerals and calcium and stuff like that. And what'll happen is that will either bind to your fabric or that'll bind to the soap. So like if you've ever had a black shirt that you wear a lot, it starts to get faded. It starts to turn kind of gray. That's usually because you have minerals that are building up on your shirt. So it's not actually fading. You have like calcium deposits on your shirt. So our products, we have like water softeners built in so that your clothes are going to be softer and they don't have that mineral buildup on them. So it's a big thing that a lot of detergent manufacturers don't really do anything about, but your clothes will last longer if you have a product that's designed for different water types.
Kimberley, also, you're talking to 3 guys in their mid-20s, and we're all just blown away right now, like thinking we're just clean. We don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. Oh, it's clean, right? It's in the water. Now I feel completely dirty right now, by the way.
Yeah. One of the things that we tell people to kind of see the difference is if you get a sample of our soap, and you can get like towels or dirty workout gear, whatever you got, and you throw it in the wash, and then you put some Rockin' Green and you let it soak for probably about an hour. And the way that your water is going to look is you're going to be blown away. It's going to be disgusting. And you can even use clean towels, and the water will turn kind of gray, and there will be like a soap scum at the top from all of that buildup from your other detergent actually coming out into the water. So, and then this is stuff that you're putting on every day.
Wow.
And so it'll definitely show you what's hanging out in your clothing all the time.
And then Kim, this is Guillermo. I play soccer. I know you talked about MMA a little bit, but are you just right now in your marketing? Is it towards MMA in general? Or are you looking to branch out to every type of sport?
It's every type of sport. We started off in the MMA stuff just because that's what we know and love. We train 4 days a week. My husband trains, I train, my kids train. So it just seemed like a natural progression to start there because that's what we know and love. But it's definitely good for all sports stuff.
Yeah, this is a product for the high school athlete, the college athlete, the weekend warrior like Guillermo, or even the guy who hits the gym every day, Monday through Friday, right?
Absolutely. And it's good for, we've got a lot of people who have like kids with soccer uniforms and grass stains. And it also has enzymes designed for blood. So when you get,
Wow.
you get a really good workout. In jiu-jitsu, like last week, somebody ended up with a bloody nose and bled all over my gi, and it came out perfect. So,
was your husband was he supportive? Like, oh, I want to do soap business. I know you see kind of tied in the rock and roll thing. Was he kind of like, what are you talking about? Are you kind of like a soap nerd? Is he a soap nerd as well, or has he kind of learned to love it?
No, yeah, it's especially when I first started, people thought I was crazy. Like this was not what I set out to do when I was in high school. Like I'm going to make a soap empire. No, this definitely was not in the plans. It just kind of fell, all fell into place. And I used to make soap in the kitchen back in the day, and
Tyler
now
Durden.
we're in like 50 different countries and some major grocery store chains. So, but in the beginning, it was definitely. People thought I was crazy. Yeah.
And now, Kimberley, I just want to talk to you about really quick how they, our listeners can buy your product. Is it only online, or can they purchase it in the store, or how?
Our sport wash is mostly online right now at rockandgreensoap.com. But we're starting to get some retailers to carry it, and we're especially doing gyms and stuff like that. So, definitely be on the lookout for it. We have our regular soaps. We are in Bed Bath & Beyond, and some grocery store chains, mostly here in the southern region like Texas and Louisiana right now. And then we're in talks with a couple other major chains. So definitely, we have a store locator on our website, so you can put in your zip code and see where the nearest vendor is, or you can always get it from rockandgreensoap.com. We're on Amazon, so several different places you can get it.
That's awesome stuff. Hey, Kimberley, we'll let you go. It's Mother's Day here, so wish you happy Mother's Day. Let you go do the festivities and stuff like that. Go be spoiled for the day. But like you said, Rockin' Green Soap, you can pick it up at rockandgreensoap.com. Follow them on Twitter at Rockin' Green Soap. Instagram also at Rockin' Green Soap, and Facebook.com/Rockin' Green Soap. Kimberley, Webb, thank you very much. We hope to partner with you in the future, and hope we could both grow together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kimberley.
Bye.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
All right, welcome back, and big thank you to Kimberley Webb from Rockin' Green Soap. Other than the UFC Fight Night and all that result, the biggest news coming out of the MMA world this week was that Eddie Alvarez is now out of his title fight against Michael Chandler due to
the pay-per-view still taking place.
Yeah, due to a concussion. So he said I think wasn't clear to fight. So their trilogy is now on hold. The main event for Bellator's first pay-per-view is off off the books, but the pay-per-view will still go on, according to FRMMMA. Now at the main event of Quentin Rampage Jackson and King Mo. Also, Michael Chandler will face Will Brooks for the interim title, I guess. And then lightweight, the biggest lightweight bout in Bellator history, Tito Ortiz versus Alexander Shlemenko. And then Michael Page. Michael Page, remember the weird English fighter who does the weird stuff?
Yeah, that guy's cool.
Against Rick Rainey. It's going to round the pay-per-view. But just thoughts on the Eddie Alvarez thought real quick. I mean, pulled out. I mean, it's obviously a big hit for Bellator, right?
It's a huge disappointment, and it just keeps...
It's a huge disappointment because now people might not tune in as much as because I'm pretty sure Albert was anticipating the trilogy compared to King Mo versus Rampage.
Because that the trilogy was the fight that made this pay-per-view legit, right?
Yes. Yeah. So now Albert will not buy the pay-per-view.
Well, no, just like the first ever pay-per-view they try to do.
Yeah.
I was in it for Eddie Alvarez and Michael Chandler. I wasn't in it for Rampage and Ortiz. I hate that was the selling point.
Yeah.
I was going to purchase it because to see that fight. Same thing for this card. I was going to purchase it to see that fight. Mm-hmm. I don't care about Rampage and the King Mo.
The fabricated the TNA storyline of King Mo.
You can see that on Fight Night pretty much for the UFC. A fight like that.
Yeah.
That's the bitterness of Bellator that I have. I mean, Visual Rebney, awesome guy. I mean, we met the guy. He's an awesome guy. I think he promotes it a respectable way.
Yeah.
But they're depending too much. I mean, I think before they're concentrating on building stars, and I think that's when we started catching on Bellator and we started liking it because we're like, who is Michael Chandler? And I was like, let me see Michael Chandler. Ellie Alvarez. But I think now they're so dependent on getting the UFC's leftovers and building up. I mean, I'm pretty sure Rampage's contract is huge.
Yeah.
So they gotta get every last dime they can from Rampage. And that's why they're doing it. But to me, that's more of a crutch than anything.
Yeah. Well, this basically my point on this topic is that it seems like the UFC doesn't have to do much for these other organizations to just fold and go under, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, this stuff like this happens all the time to Bellator. I mean, like, obviously Strikeforce went under. I mean, like...
And it's all had to do with
Is it just like fate that UFC has to be the number one, or is it just better business practice?
The reason Fedor was never
the
reason that Fedor was never in the UFC was because they can never come into contract agreement because he was asking for a number and a co-sponsorship, and UFC's like, okay, why are we going to do that? We're gonna depend ourselves on one fighter. Mm-hmm. Affliction put all their money in the baskets with Fedor, and what happens?
That was
and then Josh Barnett doesn't see. Yeah. I think that they're crutching themselves by giving these guys the big contract that they asked for that UFC won't give them.
Mm-hmm. And when these stars don't perform to the level, that's when these promotions start dropping. Like when we have someone drop out, you don't have a backup. You don't have a legitimate backup to actually be excited about that fight.
And like I said, Bellator is doing good just building their own stars.
Yeah, on a weekly basis.
Matter of fact, they're doing the opposite. UFC
Why do you think WEC was so successful?
UFC was trying to pick up any Bellator superstar when they were on the rise.
Well, they
just
did
think about it.
Hector Lombard, right? They offered Eddie Alvarez a contract.
And guess what? Dana White cries every single time about Hector Lombard's contract. Remember, he's like, well, we're paying this guy this much. And see what I mean?
Yeah.
Then they switched it on
And think about it, WC was so successful that their upcoming guys are the champions in the UFC.
And what I'm saying is like, I'm not saying that it's bad to sign some of these old UFC fighters. So there is some that didn't get the chance they deserved or whatever. But you shouldn't depend or put your whole chips in to a certain X fighter.
It's a little disappointing when I'm more excited for RFA coming up in LA than I am of the Bellator pay-per-view.
Yeah, well, RFA is doing it right. I mean, they say this is what we want to be.
It's a feeder league.
It's not. We're not trying to be on the same level.
And I'm more excited to see these upcoming prospects that they're 19, 20, 21 instead of Rampage Jackson over his prime.
I'll give you a good example. When World Series of Fighting got Anthony Rumble Johnson, instead of when they got him, they built him a certain way where then the UFC then wanted him.
Yeah.
Right? But I never saw them put all their eggs in one basket and Anthony Rumble Johnson. Yeah, they had lack of talent to fight him against, but I think that's different than they're trying to put him as the face of the company.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. They're not doing that. I mean, they just signed Jake Shields. It wasn't a big old proper, they didn't see big old posters everywhere. WS welcomes Jake Shields. Even with Andre Arlovsky, they're just there on the card. Yeah, these are names you recognize, but we're not putting, like you said, all eggs in one basket. But yeah, it's just kind of funny, like you said, like all these companies are like, and the UFC has to do nothing, just sit back and let them fall on their own.
The only company that again, we're back to World Series of Fighting. I don't know if Dana White has a connection there or whatever, but he has never spoken wrong of World Series of Fighting. Matter of fact, he always mentions World Series of Fighting. He doesn't mention any other MMA organization, but he always mentions World Series of Fighting. He even said Ben Askren should go to World Series of Fighting. Then he justified by saying, "Oh, I'm just saying I think there's better competition there." That's all he said.
It's kind of too that you guys notice that trend too. That a lot of the fighters who've been cut recently by the UFC are going to WSOF.
And then
Yushin
like,
Okami,
then Arlovsky heads back up.
Jake Shields went there. They're not. You think natural fit be Bellator, but they're not. They're actually skipping Bellator and going to World Series of Fighting, which is kind of weird.
So World Series of Fighting is doing something good, and they have technically they have a bigger. I think they have a better platform with NBC than in Spike. Even though Spike is owned by Viacom, whatever. I think that's a hard market right now. Spike TV and to sell a men's channel, while NBC Sports seems a lot more
network,
legit.
Yeah.
You know, NBC Sports shows everything.
Yeah, you hear all these signings, but you don't see any fights from World Series of Fighting.
Well,
that's the other
you
issue.
have to check on the NBC Sports network, bro.
Yeah, you have to have the NBC Sports when they'll come out on Channel 4.
They'll show like the regional fishing championships, and then they'll show World Series of Fighting, and then the hockey playoff, and then some NASCAR, or like some F1
and to their
thing.
credit, they did get a couple. They did develop a couple of stars. I mean, Marlon Morales,
one of the best bantamweights not in the UFC.
that came out of it. I mean,
we saw him live. He was a monster.
You got Nick Newell too.
Nick
Notorious
Newell. I mean, you know, they were the ones that they give Josh Berkman some life back.
Yeah, so I just kind of interested. I thought the conversations that bring up like how these companies seem to always try to get. It's almost like the WWE, right? Like
you have TNA over there rising, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah,
falls
WCW
flat.
almost taking them over them.
Why is TNA on the fall? Because they're depending too much on the WWE rejects and giving them those big contracts. And what happens when you pay a guy too much that can't sell tickets?
Yeah, you
crutch yourself.
And also when you have like Bully Ray and
Tommy
Ray, J. Major bookers.
Well, this isn't a wrestling podcast.
No, but still, the parallels there, Guillermo. Let me turn to Dana White. WWE and UFC. The parallel is right there. It's there's no reason why.
Live events every month. They have pay-per-views. They have top-tier athletes. I mean, these are the best athletes in the world.
Exclusive for their promotion only.
Yep.
And there's a reason why Spike TV premiered The Ultimate Fighter right after Monday Night Raw. So is that it for today?
Yeah,
that's it for
all right. Speaking of WWE, what's on the network, bro? I keep reading stuff like they're getting viewers. They're trying to find somebody.
Raising up prices.
This
giving away free merchandise for the WWE Network.
Hit me up at a.cita@FiveRoundMMA@gmail.com if you're interested in WWE Network, because I do want to get that $25 gift card. And I can refer up to 10 friends. So hopefully someone hits me up. The Legends house is gold. It's gold. The last episode they went to Vegas. I'm not gonna give away too much spoilers. Awesome.
Let's just say
NXT is blowing my
couple
mind.
Words, Legends House, Vegas and manscaping. There
Manscaping. That's all you got to say. And NXT is blowing my mind. It is better than TNA. I can't get enough of NXT. I wish it would travel.
NXT is better than TNA.
Boy, before you used to say TNA was like the uprising. Now I think it's switched.
I'm about to like NXT mark out right now if you guys don't stop me.
All right, stop. All right, so until then next week, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. That's FIVE Round MMA. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic for all our Android-friendly fans out there. Always check out FiveRoundMMA.com. And also, I know the draft took place, NFL draft took place this weekend. So if you need
I kept hearing some guy's name. What's his name?
Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Football.
Was that him?
He went to the Browns.
The guy that was partying with Drake.
Dan Snowden.
I don't know. Yeah, that's
pretty nice.
Yeah, so if you want to see who got drafted where on all your NFL draft coverage, go to OvertimeNation.com. While you're there, click on the MMA section, read our articles. Also, click on the soccer section, see what all the Charlie and Guillermo been up to.
Yeah, Chicago Fire. Did they win this week?
I don't know. That's not my section, bro.
I'm asking Ollie Charlie.
I shrug of the shoulders from all
That's
of
a
it.
soccer analyst.
Yeah.
OvertimeNation.com. Follow them on Twitter at @overtime_nation. Overtime Nation, where we talk sports. I want to thank the Madhouse Clothing Line, clothing for the fighter and fight fanatic. Go shop at madhouse.com and follow them on Twitter at the Madhouse MMA. And all of Charlie, before we get to this next one, who is today's top-rated star of the show? Steven Razzo from Razzo Records. Everybody.
The sound was pretty
Man, I
good.
need to lay off the Chicago Fire jokes.
There you go.
Oliver does good coverage on EPL.
The interview was very clear.
Actually, it was. Very good, Steven. As always, the Top Rated Star is brought to you by Top Rated MMA, makers of 100% American-made MMA apparel. Go shop topratedmma.com and follow them on Twitter at topratedmma. Also, check out rockandgreensoap.com. Thank you again, Kimberley Webb, for the awesome interview. Rock and Green Soap.
I am so educated with laundry. It's not even funny.
I actually feel filthy right now.
I don't know what I was doing my whole life. as far as laundry goes until I learned about
I'm
this
gonna go,
stuff.
Mom,
yeah.
what were you doing?
Yeah,
I'm filthy.
I feel like,
Mom!
Mom, you know why my
Stop
shirts
using
are
the gain
fading?
and tie.
Yeah.
And also a big thank you to Redemption Martial Arts. The RMA Foundation is a nonprofit organization committed to anti-bullying awareness. Please visit redemptionmartialarts.com and see how you can join the movement to stop bullying. Follow them on Twitter at redemption_MA. Rise up against bullying. Albert, take us away. I'm
I'd
sorry.
like to thank our executive producer Guillermo, our engineer over there, Ollie the trolley. He slows. Yeah, the engine has been slowing down, but it's okay. I'd like to
Bring it up the rear.
thank Steven Roswell with Roswell Records for our sound needs. Thanks everybody for listening.
Oh yeah, the cream of the crop.